Welcome to Exploring God's Creation by Creation Science Network. Join us now as your host Bob Knopf, Christian book author and seminar speaker, explores the mysteries of God's creation and the age of the earth.
Charles Darwin is credited with writing the book Origin of the Species. He did that because he went to the Galapagos Islands and found that finches had different kinds of beaks, and he extrapolated that all the way back to say, hey, we came from an amoeba. He had 0 science degrees. He's referred to as a great scientist. He had no science degree, no training in science whatsoever, so just know that. He even questioned himself. You can read the whole book, but he says, I may have devoted myself to a fantasy. He also said that it seems impossible that the human eye is certain to the highest degree, his own words, his own writing, that the human eye could have evolved. Here's the name of his book. Back then they had really long titles to their books. The title of the book was On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection or the Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life. And therein lies the key to the whole theory of evolution. And you don't hear this on TV, but it started because Charlie Darwin was a racist. It set the stage. Unlike creation that says all men are created in the image of God and equal, evolution now sets up the framework where maybe some of us are more highly evolved than others. Sadly, in the same year that Charlie Darwin wrote his book, this is an actual ad from a newspaper at that same time. Hard for us to believe and imagine that, isn't it? Pretty sad. He didn't like women too well either. This is what he thought about you ladies. The average mental power of man must be about that of a woman. How many guys believe that? Oh, we don't have anybody in this church. I do it. Okay? That's an Australian Aborigine. You know, they were killed by the thousands because when they found them, they thought they might be the missing link just by the way they looked. So they were shot and studied in the 1800s, all because of the theory of evolution. American Indians, you know, when we took away the treaty with them, we called them savages. Why? That's an evolutionary mindset that says that all people aren't created equal. There was a problem. 15 years after Darwin wrote his book, there was absolutely no proof for it. So a guy by the name of Ernest Haeckel said, boy, we better get some proof for this book. And so he made up a bunch of drawings that are totally fabricated. And these are all in the school textbooks today. 150 years later, he says, we all share a commonality as we're developing. And this is all the different animals here. Chicken and pigs and cow and human and all of that. And here's how they all look alike. And here it is at the top. There's his drawings on the top. And here's what they look like at the bottom. And if you compare the top to the bottom, you have the same critter. The bottom is what they actually look like. The top is what he said they look like. Right there. You know, he was convicted of fraud 4 years in his own alma mater. 4 years after he did that, the scientific community knew it was wrong. He's still in the textbooks today. And the reason is, if they take all that stuff out, they won't have anything to talk about. Pretty sad. Now, one of the things people can do is they can go to the school board and say, look, this has been proven wrong. We want that out of our school textbooks. Because most states have requirements that the textbooks have to be accurate, and all this stuff is a bunch of lies, so we need to try to get it out of textbooks. Sorry.